The latest from Walt Disney Animation Studios failed to ignite the box office on Thanksgiving weekend, but we're going to talk about it anyway. It's Disney's Strange World. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Strange World, the new animated film in theaters exclusively right now. For how long, I don't know. If they're going to do it like last year's Encanto, which came out around Thanksgiving and was already up on Disney Plus by Christmas. It could explain why maybe some families shied away from this one, knowing that it will likely be on Disney Plus for free very soon. Also, I wonder if people even knew it was in theaters, because their last, 4 or 5 movies went directly to Disney Plus. Pinocchio, Hocus Pocus 2, the new Disenchanted, which I still have to see. So in any event, it did not do big numbers at the box office. In fact, it is Disney Animation's lowest opening since Winnie the Pooh over a decade ago, and that had a very minuscule budget compared to this. So in any event, before we launch into the specifics of this movie, I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. Tons of great stuff on the channel here to check out, and please consider subscribing down below or comment on this video, like this video. That stuff helps the channel out more than you know. So, all right, let's talk about Strange World. A lot of interesting voice work here from some familiar names: Dennis Quaid, Jake Gyllenhaal, Lucy Liu, Gabrielle Union, to name a few. And it follows the Clade family, a very legendary family of explorers who need to set aside their generational differences and father and son differences as they embark on a journey to a mysterious land to save a resource called the Pando from losing its energy power source. And this also features a lot of stuff that we've seen before in both Disney movies and sort of elsewhere. It's an action-heavy movie for sure. But let's talk about the positives first, because I'm very torn on this movie. I took my nephew to see it, and he really enjoyed it. I was left a little bit more lukewarm about it. So the positives for sure are the world building, for one thing. They've gone into this, strange world, it's the name of the movie, to sort of meet all of these creatures and encounter, things that are maybe detrimental to them, or maybe they are friends. And we sort of meet them along the way. The world building, the character design for some of these creatures, very cool, for sure. So that is one of the best parts of the movie. And I think the voice work is great, too. Jake Gyllenhaal plays the father of one of the characters, but also the son of another character. So he's sort of in the middle generation there. He plays Searcher Clade, who decides to give up the life of the explorer to start a farm. And that's sort of what he wants his son to go into, like his father wanted him to go into exploring. So, sort of a trait passed down through the generations. But the other sort of main character here is Ethan Clade, who is Searcher's 16-year-old son, played by Jaboukie Young-White, who is... I'm not sure if he's gay or bi, but there's certainly a very explicit romance here, and a crush that he has on a male friend of his. So that is probably the most front and center we've seen yet for gay love or queer love in a Disney animated movie. Obviously, Lightyear had a grown-up lesbian kiss. And people were up in arms about that. Oddly enough, I haven't really heard much, even at the theater where I work, about, we did have one family leave because they said it was against their religion to, enjoy something with a gay character or whatever. So we were like, all right, my theater's all run by queer people. So we were just like, all right, well, we're all gay. So here's your money, bye. But I'm actually surprised that more families had not come out, because it's very explicit here. More, it's not like we see them doing anything, but the crush and all of that is very, very front and center here. At least in the beginning of the movie. Once we get sort of to the more exploratory stuff, not so much. But it rears its head a few different times in the film, and as a gay man, I think that's cool. And it's interesting that They did it in such a way that it just isn't even a thing. So people can watch this in 30, 40, 50 years when, being gay is completely accepted. Cross fingers, I guess, for that. And it won't seem out of place or odd. They just make no big deal about it at all, which I think personally is pretty cool. But I know people may have conflicting feelings about that. But in any event, he plays the son, and he wants to do his own thing. He wants to be more like his grandfather, be an explorer, or other things. He wants to be a game designer. He wants to, just not farming. So anyway, the father-son stuff, certainly reminiscent of. It's funny. A lot of the Pixar movies come to mind with this one, including the father-son stuff that we saw a bit of in Onward and some other movies, but the environmental message, which is about as subtle as a hammer to the face in this movie, is very reminiscent of WALL-E, a fantastic Pixar movie, possibly one of their best. So this movie is just very interesting to grade because I don't think there's a lot of originality with it, to be honest. It wasn't really that funny. There was one like very, very cute character, this sort of blue blobby character, that was very funny and cute, and he didn't, really speak at all. It was all sort of just, gut, sort of gut musings and like noises and stuff. That again, we've seen that sort of in different characters as well. Certainly, not just Pixar, but Disney has a lot of characters that don't speak either that are sort of there for the comic relief. So, a lot of sort of unoriginal stuff in that regard. But the world building is really cool. The animation looks great. The voice work is very, very competent. And the themes of sort of the father-son dynamic and family unity and that sort of thing, I appreciated, I think, more than the very, very obvious environmental stuff, which, like I said, was very, very not subtle at all. So look, this is a middling movie for me. It's probably the weakest entry on the Disney animation scene in a long time. And I guess if we're counting, sort of the side studios like Disney Toon Studios did those Planes movies. All right, well, it's certainly better than Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue. But in terms of like Disney animation proper, the most recent ones, Frozen, Frozen 2, Wreck-It Ralph, Encanto, this is definitely not up to par with any of that. So I'm gonna leave it with a C plus. I could even be talked down with it too. I think it just is not the studio's best work for sure. But did I enjoy watching it? Yeah, I liked a lot of the elements about it. So it's definitely a mixed grade, and so I think a C plus kind of is where that sits with me. Well, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Dan Reviews It, and we'll see you next time. Bye.